So that's how I always start the game. I rush up here. If they try to gank, usually on the bottom side, I try to go up to the... It's red, right? On the top where Echo is. Try to go to Echo and put a ward or something.
Okay.
If I see them ganking our blue. Our red.
It's more of your jungler's job than your job to be warding his buff. You're gonna need the ward whenever it's time for me looking to gank.
Okay.
So, in this matchup, what is your plan?
I think I was slow. I was only gonna last hit in order to pull the mobs towards my side and try to freeze. I'm still playing with the freezes because I still don't understand fully how to push a bit, push a lot, try to manage the freeze. I'm still working on that.
Okay. So pretty much regardless of matchup, the champion that's going to be able to decide who gets to freeze is the one that's stronger early. So, like if the standard way you set up a freeze is you slow push the first and second wave, and then you insta shove the third wave because it's cannon, and you can come back to lane with the wave like right here. But if you just let him push into you, he's just going to crash the wave. It's not going to turn into a freeze because you're not strong enough to hold it with his minion advantage.
Okay.
But
so against the kill that doesn't apply, but against the Olaf because he's very strong early on. I think he actually kills me level 1, but
it applies to both. Like you shouldn't. Okay, if you're stronger, then you should be pushing. If they're stronger, you have to let them push unless they do something stupid. Because if you're letting them push into you when you shouldn't be, you're just giving them level 2 early for free, and then allowing them opportunities to crash the wave when they shouldn't be able to. Okay, you Q here. You miss the minions. So, interestingly, what you're doing is already contradicting what you said earlier because you're pushing into him. But that is good. Just farm, you hit level 2. Now, okay. You've already cleared the first wave, and you get level 2 off the first minion of the second wave, so that's going to be this one. Now, if you're paying attention to that, or even just looking at your XP bar, you can guess. You should be walking into him right now, and so as your Q is coming up and you last hit this minion, you can immediately fight him with your level 2 advantage. But then you're walking back. Even though you have an extra ability to fight him with. Then you throw the E, which you do not want to do. Because what you want to use E for is to keep him from escaping. So what you can do is you can auto-attack him, then Q, auto-attack again, and if he tries to get away from you, then you pull him back in with your E.
Okay.
But this way, it's much harder to stick to him, and he's able to get out.
So if I did what you said, when he started to run, I could pull him again.
Yeah.
Again, I think I wouldn't be able to kill him, but still he would be much lower.
It would be very low at minimum. And he would probably flash. Because you could threaten to use your ghost and get in more auto attacks. This is fine as long as you're focused on hitting the wave as much as possible. Okay, yep, this is good. part of it. Notepad. Okay. So, you got what I said I wanted earlier. You, whether intentionally or not, you slowly push the first couple waves, and then you crash this cannon wave. What this allows you to do is you can either recall, or you can walk down and you can help your jungler with Scuttle, or maybe even like kill the enemy jungler depending on what's happening in the game. What I don't want to see is you just standing under the turret.
Which I'm doing, most probably.
So what's wrong with just standing under the turret?
I don't CS, I don't get any value out of it. I just try to poke him, he's safe because I cannot dive him right now.
Yep. Yeah, he's way too healthy for you to be able to come under turrets. All the minions are full HP, for sure. And since you know that Olaf leashed because he came really late, that means you should know that Echo started red side and he's going to be pathing away from you. So you can look to just recall here. Recalling here would give you the freeze opportunity that I was talking about earlier. But instead, that's not going to really happen. You're just going to keep pushing, and nothing's going to be done until eventually Olaf starts to chase you down. Because you're giving Olaf his ideal scenario. Olaf players love having the wave on his side, because then he can, if he lands one Q, just chase you all the way. But if the wave's over here, then he can't do that.
On the third wave,
Yep.
when I crashed it, if he attempts to slow push, it will still come to my side.
Okay, so
here, let's say I recalled, and he
Yes.
started to slow to last hit all minions, or even not hitting any minions.
Okay.
Would it still crash on my side?
yes. Well, okay,
Okay,
it would not go under your turret. I don't know what you mean by crash.
Not crash, to freeze in front of the turret. And
So what would happen is these minions right here are stuck fighting these minions under the turret. Because they're killing these minions, they can't move forward. And so your minions that are coming in, which are at the same location, just on the other side, are going to come all this way and meet up here when his minions finally get to here.
Okay.
Because you have the same amount of minions, but on his side, his waves are going to keep getting here faster, and it's going to push into you.
So
yes.
because he's gonna have a second stack of minions as well.
Yes.
So
whether he last hits or not, it will push into you, assuming that you're not hitting minions.
So it's not the next wave that's gonna freeze in front of my turret. No. It's the wave after that. It's gonna freeze.
Yeah, you gotta, because that's why I said you recall, because then I'll give the wave enough time to build up.
Okay.
And the reason that you can then set up the freeze is because, one, Olaf is already missing half his health and mana, assuming you're recalled. And you come back with an item advantage because you were able to buy items. Since he doesn't have TP, he's going to be in a really bad position. And yeah, you fight him, you die. Don't really care about that part.
Like, thinking of boots and the how's it called, the armor, is to be able to dodge his Q. His Q, isn't it? And to have a bit of armor against him.
I would rather you go. Yeah, I don't think you should be going steel caps this game. You're not going to get that much value. If you're going to be buying boots to deal with Olaf, I think it would be better to get swiftness boots. Obviously, you can't afford it yet. But it would give you the slow resistance, because they have quite a bit of slows. Slow here, slow here, slow here, slow here.
I think I actually saw the armor later.
Yeah.
But I didn't go the swiftness boots. I think I went for the magic resist boots.
Which way does this wave push?
This wave pushes to his side because it's the same minions, so my wave is gonna come first.
Yeah. Well, it's not quite same minions because he's got one right here.
Ah, he's got one more.
Yeah, but it does push into him.
It's still, it requires 2 or 3 minions, right, to be able to overcome the... If you had 2
for
minions
here,
or more...
it would take... like, you would need him to have 3 more than you in order for it to stay right here.
3 more. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the... I like what you're doing here, you're slow pushing the wave, but what was the reason for you doing it?
Because I needed the XP, I knew that if I pushed in and went under, I would die the first moment he came, and so I wouldn't be able to farm, because he would freeze instantly. Or he would try at least. Because in my mind, freezing is just a choice on the moment, it doesn't have to be set up. So if I see the minions coming towards this side, if I slow push, if I only last hit, it's gonna be a freeze, but it seems that that's not it.
Either way, he can't freeze. Because your wave clear is so fast, and the next wave is about to come in. So you could just burn everything you have on this wave, kill this next wave before he gets back to lane. Because, yeah, he's recalling now. You would have crashed way before he got there, even if he recalled earlier. But the reason the slow push is good is because it gives you a really big minion difference. And so if he decides to walk up and go for a minion, you can take a really good trade. Assuming you don't start with E. Look how far back you are.
So there I should be on top of my wave, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
your
they
wave
have
is really big. Just fight him. He's got no damage. He bought Mercury Treads. He's scared of you. And you're gonna hit level 6 first, assuming you're pushing. So you could hit level 6, and then you could ult him before he gets his level 6. And now you get it. Okay.
How did he... Ah, he ulted.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I forget his ult is.
Yep. Makes this matchup really bad. It's okay though. Trade ultimates. Keep the wave right here. Well, could have until you queued the back minion. Okay, you're gonna have to recall. So what's gonna happen is he's just gonna come in and he's gonna dive you. Throw a couple axes. But he's too scared to do it. Oh, slowly getting there. Echo's gotta be showing up. He's already recalled from bot. Man, where is Echo? He ran back. Oh my god. Finally you recall.
So I recall too late.
Yeah, way too late.
So my best option when I'm low health, I'm losing, let's say, and I want to recall. What am I doing? Am I pushing the wave?
If you're really low HP, you can't. You
So I
just
just
have to drop
recall
the wave and
regardless
suck it
what
up.
happens.
Yep.
Okay.
When you've already screwed up that badly, there's nothing you can do. You just have to accept that you screwed up badly.
The issue here is that I did not remember at the time that his ult just cancels my R. I do get the stats though, don't I?
No. No, you ult him and then he ults and you lose the stats anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I instantly lose the stats.
Yeah.
Same with Gangplank.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, so I saw the armor cap and I went.
Why did... Okay, I want you to look at how much gold you have. So you go back and you buy Blasting Wand, or not Blasting Wand, sorry, Leeching Leer. You sold your cloth armor. You have 388 gold in base after selling the cloth armor. 392, 393, 400. You leave base without buying anything.
What could I have bought though? That would make a.
Nothing. But my point is that you sold the cloth armor and it wasn't to buy anything, so you may as well kept it.
Okay, so I just lost stats for no reason.
Yeah, there was
Would
no
have made a
reason to
difference.
sell it. If you were trying to get to your mythic and you just really thought the cloth armor was a bad idea, then I guess, but
I didn't have enough gold though. No.
yeah, it was nowhere close. This fight's good. Okay, you gotta stop starting with your E. Because you do it in every single fight.
No, I do that everywhere. If
Yeah.
you see all the matches, I do it always start EQ, auto attack to proc the passive.
Yep. Because Olaf is running into Viego, so you definitely don't need to E here. Just Q right onto him. You get your passive going. And then about now you would look to E him back in. Assuming, I don't know why he's still running into you, but yeah. So you see a little bit of a fight here. The problem with going for this fight is that there's no way you can get over the wall, and you're going to miss minions in the process if you stay too long. So I really don't like going for this. Now, one thing you could do is you could try to get the Katarina out by walking down to here and letting her leap onto you. But outside of that, you should have nothing to do with this. She also messed up the plants. That's kind of on her. Yeah, you missed this whole wave. Two waves, actually. 3 waves. 4.
And 5.
Yeah. So if you're gonna roam or do any kind of rotation, you've got to think you're constantly on a timer. You don't have time to go run here, sit in the brush here, chase here, go through the enemy jungle. Like, you're gonna just put yourself really far behind when you should be really far ahead. Because what ended up happening is, due to all those minion waves that you could have collected, you should be 20 CS ahead of Olaf by the time you're over here. But you didn't
Okay,
collect
so
any of them.
Only if I have a huge advantage and I'm feeling very, very confident that I can get a bigger advantage by roaming. Should I roam? I should roam.
Nope. So, okay.
But
the roaming is like, right. If the enemy is really overextended and you are confident that you can get the kill, then sure. But then even then you would still immediately go back top. And you also have to consider that you have a guaranteed advantage already in top lane. Because if we go back, if you run top, you crash the wave, or even just run top because he's pushing it into you. He pushes the wave, you hold it here, and then you're guaranteed a kill. Because he has to walk up the farm. But instead, this is a massive risk with very little potential benefit. And these kind of plays is how you're going to end up averaging 4.2 CS per minute like you do. Because you're just getting into a farm.
because I don't have an issue with farming per se. I do farm, but the issue is that when I roam, I just go all out.
Yeah, like, it's not your last hitting ability itself, it's just that you're not at the minion waves.
Okay.
To get the minions. And so Olaf is just naturally going to have a massive golden XP advantage simply because he didn't roam. I heard a phone, are you good, or?
Nah, I'm good, don't worry.
Okay. Alright. So you are pushing the wave. That, I don't know what this was.
I think I wanted to ward, but for some reason I didn't ward. And I had wards as well.
Well, what would you want to ward?
To see if Olaf came, because I was really scared of Olaf at the time.
He was on the map. The whole time. Because they were had a Drake fight.
I just never looked there.
Yeah.
So there I should have taken not plates right now because it's post 15 minutes, but...
You would just, yeah, you would shove the wave and then you could look to push the turret. And once it's around time that Olaf could be back, then you back away and you go take jungle camps. So like, he's going to be showing back up because he was at the Drake fight. Yeah, and then you would go down here and you would take Scuttle. Staying here once he's back though does nothing. Just like earlier. It allows them to chase him down, and then you should die here. Yeah.
Okay. He's just trying to push to get the turret. And then you bought the cloth armor again to get the boots. I think it was, oh, he's doing damage, let's get some armor. But it's actually not, it's very damp. I just lost gold for no reason.
Yeah. Okay, this E was fine. Now, if you hadn't walked the way you did, you wouldn't have needed to. But because he's this far away and he's getting away, now you do have to E. But ideally, you would have been here initially anyway, if you see that Viego's trying to wrap around. Great, you kill him. I don't like this. So him doing Herald's fine, but you need to focus on crashing this wave. Especially since you should know that Viego can't die while doing this Herald, because 3 are here and you just killed Olaf. So he's fine.
Yeah, but if Echo... because Echo... No, where's Echo?
The Echo is 1 and 5 and your Viego is 7 and 4.
So even if he's lower health...
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Viego would just run him over. In worst case scenario, you could still rotate after crashing the wave when he's just finishing up the Herald. So there's no risk to doing it. Because now the problem is that you don't crash this wave, and it's going to be stuck here for a little while. Which is definitely not what we want. We're going for another random roam, which may or may not work. Hopefully it doesn't. Good. Which is completely contradictory of what your plan should be. Your plan is you want to crash the wave. So you crash it earlier, it bounced back, you could crash again. And then you want to crash this wave so that it's like 30 seconds before Drake spawns. Spawns in 42 seconds, you'll be crashing this wave. And then you can look to go run the dragon.
When I cross the wave, how long approximately do I have to roam? Because you said that I'm on a timer every time I leave the top my lane.
It depends on how big of a wave you crashed, as well as the enemy's wave clear. Also, if your turret's up. So you have more time now, because your first turret's down, than you normally would. Like in the very beginning of the game, it's different because Olaf's going to have less wave clear than he is at level 12. You also have different levels of movement speed. So I can't just give you a static number for how much time. You just have to think about how long the wave is going to take to push back into you. So if you crash a really big wave, then you usually have like 30 seconds. If you crash just a small wave and the enemy has really fast wave clear, it may be more like 15 seconds. Just depends.
Okay, now, okay, like that I can check myself how long it takes for me to go mid, let's say, or to go to...
Yeah.
I can check on practice all later.
Anyway, so as I was saying, you want to crash this wave 30 seconds before dragon, so that way Olaf has to come clear it before dragon spawns and you can get a 5v4. If he doesn't come clear it, and it's a 5v5, that's fine, it's still even, and he's missing all of the minions, so it's good either way. But when you don't crash here and you go for a roam a minute before dragon, then you don't get any of that value. You're not going to have
lose because I die.
Yep. You die, and then now you're going to be really late for dragon. You do still need to go to it, because everybody for some reason is late to this dragon. But it's going to be pretty awkward. Yeah. Another example of not wanting to use your E. Okay.
So there's a Q. Just Q and leave.
No, you don't even need to Q. You just back up. Because your Katarina has already burned R, and you're just waiting on Draven. Well, actually, I take that back. He's really low. But either way, you don't need to run into them. You want them to run into you. So wait until one of them uses their dash. Like if Silas uses his double E, then you can go in with that because he has no way to get out. Same with Echo E.
Okay.
And it's going to be really easy to land your Q once their dash is down and they're on top of you. But you don't need to use it to where they can just sidestep it. Or this would be another opportunity where you could use your E, because Zyra landed CC that guarantees you can get it. And this is going to be kind of ugly. Yeah. If only Katarina had ult. Just running around, taking a fight. This is fine. I mean, you went a little too far. It wasn't terrible. Okay. So when you land the multi-E, now, the reason this E is good is because of what I was talking about earlier, where you watch it from Echo's perspective. He's coming in. He uses his E and his rocket belt, so then he has no way to dodge this. Then it's better. And plus you hit the Silas too, which is an extra benefit. You get your passive. This is great. You get the Echo kill. And then right after this, you would want to back off. But not too worried about that. This game goes on for a while.
It doesn't really change anything. It still goes that way.
Yeah.
It has mid fight. So regardless of what the teammates do, I still do the same thing.
Yep. You just permanently run mid. Olaf's gonna take your turret. Yeah. So yeah, the rest of this is just you permanently running at people in mid lane.
Yeah.
You've got to be thinking more about when Dragon spawns, when Baron spawns, where are the enemies, because like, so the problem is right now you're ulting Jinx. If you don't kill Jinx here, then that means you don't have ult during Drake fight.
So I can't ult the jungler so that we can get.
Yeah. And then she kills
my
you.
My thinking of ulting Jinx is that at least I take the ADC that has 16 and 5.
Yeah.
So the rest of my team can do something in the 4 or 5 seconds I have, because I know that I'm gonna die. Especially after now, I know that every time I ult Jinx, I die.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, the main things, some of them I mentioned more than others, like using level spikes, and I can send these to you later.
I just print screened them, so.
Yeah. So using level spikes, like getting your, when you hit level 2, make sure to go off that, or if you're going to hit level 6 early, because you have multiple opportunities where you're pushing the wave into Olaf, and then you didn't do anything with the extra ability that you could have. Of course, if you're on the other side of the matchup where someone is beating you early, then you would have to respect their level spike and try not to fight them if they're about to level up before you.
Okay, so just back off a little bit.
Yeah.
Try to get the XP until I get level 2 and I get the buffer, but he's still gonna have an advantage for level 3 as well. I still do the same thing.
Not
I cannot
necessarily, but it usually, it depends. So yeah, you look to get something done after slow pushing. I guess I should put yeah. So whenever you crash the wave, instead of just sitting there throwing Qs at your opponent, look to go get Scuttle or Recall, take enemy jungle camp, something besides just standing there throwing a Q at him. Some champions can do that, like Vayne, Teemo, where they're good at poking the opponent under turret when they go for last hits, but Mordekaiser's not the champ for that.
Vayne, I'm the worst Vayne player in the world.
Yeah.
the only range top I actually play is Aksan, which I like a lot. But after the buff of the tanks, it's not been the same. I used to be able to destroy Mordekaiser and Asus, and most tanky.
Talked about the E quite a bit. Should be clear by now.
No, I have stopped that.
Void staying at lane. Oh, that's supposed to be really low HP. Oops.
I got it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like especially if the enemy jungler, if you don't know where they are, you're just gonna get dove and then miss the minions anyway. So you may as well just recall. Look at map before warding / in between action, because there was the time where you were warding for Olaf even though he was on the map when you were doing it. And also, now that I think about it, even if you were to ward that brush and he was in the brush, you would still die there. So the ward didn't protect you anyway. And then the in-between action part is when you're not actively killing a minion, or if you're just running to like top lane or something, that's a good time to just look around the map, move your camera, see what's happening, see what people
You know what
are.
happens sometimes, and that's why I've stopped doing it. Because sometimes let's say, go to the map, I click to go top after I respawn, or I go B.
Okay.
And for some reason, my player stops moving at some point. I'm not pressing S at any point. He just stops moving.
Yes,
and
because when you clicked on the map to move, you clicked on a minion and that minion died. That's what causes that to happen.
It's because of minion.
Yep. So if either A, you just make sure you don't click on a minion, or B, just pay attention if it stops moving, then that won't happen.
Okay.
And then, yeah, have a reason when taking fights. The easiest way to set up good fights is you look at a dragon spawn timer, and then you try to set up or crash the wave so that you can run down to it and the opponent has to clear the wave. That's a really good time to take a fight. Not just random ones in mid lane where half your team doesn't have ultimates.